I'm Rampage Santana, and I'm always watching Ultimate Wrestling Trivia, the show on YouTube.
Welcome to Ultimate Wrestling Trivia, the show. The man down there is Mike Merc. The man in the middle, making his debut, Angelo Stefano. And my name is Devon. As Adam Pierce says, it is official. Welcome to the desk. Mr. Stefano, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. It's about time I'm here. The reason I was kept out of the first few episodes is it's very simple. It's jealousy. These two gentlemen extremely jealous of me. First of all, I am by far the most handsome.
Debatable.
No, there is no debate.
And having a good beard day too.
Yeah,
Well,
that's true.
I have one of those too, and mine's it's just
great.
cooler.
It's white.
No, that's just the camera work. It's no grays at all. Anyway, it is good to be here.
All right, we want to thank Rampage Santana for checking in. He is a guy that's been in the Midwest and moved his way to British Columbia, Canada, and he will be taking on a good friend of the show, Mr. Ken Anderson at RPW, March 16th. You guys have some connections with Ken Anderson. The man down there, Mike Merc, trained him. Stefano actually had a match for him. I think you can find that on YouTube. Do you guys have any comments, questions, concerns about Mr. Anderson?
It'll be good to see him in action again. I'm glad I'm not wrestling him. I wrestled him once in a singles match. Did not work out very well for me.
Merc?
Well, I think Stefano's being a little modest. He actually lived with Mr. Anderson for a while.
That's
so,
true, yeah.
Yeah, they, may
Broke
or may
bread
not
together,
have drank out of the same milk carton a time or two.
I believe when it came to beer, he might have ran out of beer. I might have drank some of his by accident. Happens.
Definitely look forward to that show. And of course, if you want Ultimate Wrestling Trivia, the show, to plug your show, drop us a link. Send us your information. We'll be happy to plug it along. But March 16th, we will be there in attendance for Rampage and Ken Anderson. Any early predictions on that? That's going to be the main event at the Big Apple in Manitowoc. I think there's a few tickets available. You're going to see Maggie Lee there. You're going to see Davey Vega, Brick McCarthy, Gary J from Indiana, Heather Reckless, who is trained by Seth Rollins. A cast of characters. Going to be a great show down there.
Yeah, every RPW show goes all out as far as I think there's 29 wrestlers booked for the 8-9 matches. It's insane. You know, you're looking at some of the match graphics right now. It's definitely a who's who of Midwest independent wrestling, and there's such a great value for your dollar when it comes to an indie show. And I believe we even have some comments from Rampage about his match, which happens to be a teacher versus student match, as Rampage is a graduate of the Academy School of Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, Rampage recently stopped out at legendary Lambeau Field. Check out his comments right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am in Green Bay, Wisconsin, home of the man who's been the Undertaker, who's done the big dance at WrestleMania, who in fact became Mr. Money in the Bank at WrestleMania, the man that trained Slammy Davis Jr. to be an asshole. At least that's who I'm supposed to be working March 16th. The guy I'm working, such a nice guy that he gave up his first last name and took on another one. But he's such a nice guy. Like, honestly, Mr. Anderson's such a nice guy. He does charity for kids, benefit shows. He's just such an outstanding guy, but the guy I grew up watching always had this motto. I think it's
nice guys always finish last. Well, Kurt, next week and then again at Lockdown, look into my eyes when I tell you that thank God, I'm in it.
All right, Rampage Santana feeling pretty confident against Ken Anderson. That should be a good one. Switching gears a little bit, did you ever want to go into the mind of Stefano's world when it comes to booking meetings? Now, you both, in past, have booked shows Is there any secret? Can you give us any inside knowledge on how that goes down?
Well, if I were to chime in first, so there's a little bit of a difference between a wrestling show, like a one-off, one-time wrestling event, running a wrestling promotion that has, you know, maybe some storylines or angles that carry over from live event to live event. But then there's also booking for a TV show. So we had an independent wrestling company back in the day. We had television for 66 weeks. We booked, the TV has to, that storylines has to carry on, you know, throughout, like a soap opera, as far as like, it's never truly ending. It's always, you know, when one conflict ends, another conflict begins. But it is a challenge. So this is, I'll let Mr. Stefano explain his viewpoints.
Well, we like to have fun here at Ultimate Wrestling Trivia, the show.
We do.
And I suggested that sometimes Tony Khan, his booking, to me, I get a little confused how he comes up with things, where he's going with things. So I kind of dived into my own head and came up with how I thought maybe, just maybe, this is how Tony Khan gets his ideas.
Check it out right now.
Yeah, absolutely. That was probably my favorite match of the night.
Right?
Hey, what's up, Stefano?
Hey, man.
What's going on? How you doing?
Not much. Good.
Hey,
What's up?
Did you check out the latest episode of Dynamite, AEW Dynamite?
Yeah.
Dude, you guys know I don't watch that.
What?
It's awful. I can't watch it. It doesn't make
You're
any sense.
always ripping on AEW.
Why
What's
is
the
he
problem?
always hating on All Elite? Dude, it was borderline 5 stars last night.
Oh, every match is
Was good.
5 stars. Why don't you give it 10 stars? Dude, you want to know how AEW is booked? I bet you $1 million I know exactly how AEW is booked. Diddle-doo, diddle-doo, diddle-doo. Hey, Tony, what's up, man?
Wednesday night Dynamite. We're gonna have a main event with this guy, right? And he's gonna take his hands, he's gonna put them in his pockets, and the ratings are gonna be huge. And then we're gonna have these guys, top guys, right? They're gonna come in on Wednesday. And then I'm gonna get this guy. He's gonna grab this guy, he's gonna give him a finisher. And another finisher. It's gonna be great, it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait.
What's going on?
We'll probably do a run-in. We'll do a run-in with this guy, and it's going to lead to Friday Collision.
Tony's playing Booker.
Well,
Playing Booker?
Friday's Rampage. Did we get Booker T?
No, Tony, you're playing Booker with your dolls.
No. See, when I was 13, I had my action figures and I had storylines, and I wrote everything down, and I remember every finish. And we can use that. We can use that for Wednesday. The ratings are going to be big. They're probably going to be the biggest ratings you've ever seen. So we can bring in Booker T.
Okay.
So-
Sounds good there, Booker man. I'm just gonna walk
My
away
dad's
slowly.
a billionaire. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know he's a billionaire. I'm gonna walk away slowly, kind of let you be. Okay, have fun, Booker man. Diddle-doo. See that's exactly
That is the biggest drink of
You are
haterade.
so far off.
No,
Like,
dude,
seriously.
I'm telling you, that's exactly what it
Never
is
happened.
like. Yes.
Never happened.
You just
Yes.
hate AEW. Just admit it.
No,
Hey
I
guys,
don't.
so I was thinking, our next video,
Yeah.
we could do this thing with action figures.
What a mark. Oh my god.
What is he doing? Stefano is such a mark, man.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
gonna do a giveaway of action figures.
I like that idea.
Want to go check on him?
Nah. Wow, that was something else. Interesting
It's not
world.
not out of the realm of possibility that's how that happens.
I'm never gonna work in this town again. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, wow. Well, appreciate that from Stefano. Switching gears a little bit, recently, the Stinger, the icon, Sting, the man himself, wow, had his last match in AEW on the pay-per-view. Comments, questions, concerns. Did we like the way it went out? I actually thought it was phenomenal. I liked the way that he had to fight back after Darby did the crazy high spot. It was just Sting against the Bucks. He fought back, gave everything else he had, and came out victorious. Had his sons there, which was fantastic. The confetti was falling, still was the champion. I enjoyed it a lot. What about you guys?
I'll go first. I didn't like it at all.
Really?
No, I'll tell you why.
Okay.
First of all, you guys can say what you want. Darby Allin's stunt, and it's a stunt. That's what I'm going to call it. Totally uncalled for. I think it took away, pretty much ruined the match for me. I have no interest in seeing someone try to cripple themselves. I'm not saying he doesn't have guts to do something like that, but I don't want to see something like that. It took away from Sting. I rather would have seen Sting in a singles match with a young up-and-coming heel that could get a little bit of rub from Sting. Sting still could have won, wouldn't have been a big issue. Next guy would have been on the rise. Sting wins, everyone goes home happy. That's how I would have liked to have seen it, but I'm not in control, so.
I'm gonna shout out to Derek, who's not here. I'm gonna steal a comment from him in our group chat where we were kind of kicking around. I'm gonna pull the Ultimate Wrestling Trivia curtain back a little bit, and we're discussing ideas for the next show, our next show, and this topic came up as it often does we discussed Dynamite during Dynamite, Raw during Raw, and Derek's comment, I thought, said it best. He's like, hey, Sting signed off on it for what Darby did. So obviously Sting was okay with that. And at the end of the day, Darby's going to Darby. And for me personally, the highlight of the match was seeing Sting's kids who
100%.
We got a chance to see them on television, but to see them pay homage to their dad in his gimmicks.
Yeah, and that was Sting's old gear.
So
actually,
that is super, super cool. I saw the social media clips of it that AEW posted virtually immediately after his match. I didn't get a chance to see it live like you guys did, but so seeing those clips made me excited to see the match, and it didn't disappoint. I mean, at the end of the day, Sting is a 64-year-old man, 62-year-old man.
Yeah,
Still in amazing
60.
shape, though.
Yeah.
It was impressive, and I think a lot of wrestlers are jealous to see, that icon, that legend go out with essentially a proper send-off. He got to hold the title, and he went his entire AEW career without losing a match. That's something to be said.
That's true. Yeah, he went undefeated. He was phenomenal. You can definitely drop it in the comments. Let us know what you thought of the Stingers' last match. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent. We would love to hear from you. And speaking of another icon, a guy that used to wrestle and transitioned into movies, none other than Mr. Dave Bautista himself. And of course, he just wrapped up filming a drama movie called The Last Showgirl. That sounds like something you might watch.
Oh, I beg to differ.
And then he's going to be starting in another movie alongside Samuel L. Jackson. He's going out to Europe. It's going to be based off of the Red 5 comic series called Afterburn, so you can look forward to that. Dave Bautista, sneakily, a very good actor. Are we going to watch this movie? What do you guys think of Dave Bautista?
I liked him as the Bond villain. I forget the name of the movie. I liked him in that. Thought it was pretty good in the Guardian of the Galaxy.
Drax is a great character.
Didn't know he was that funny.
Yeah.
I was really impressed. I'm like, he's funny?
Yeah.
He's good?
Yeah, I mean, you had Dave Bautista in the movie like Stuber, which is funny. I mean, probably along the lines of Suburban Commando and stuff. My Spy, Knock at the Cabin, I think it was. That was a spooky one. That was pretty good. And we can't forget, he's got the #1 movie in the country right now, probably over $100 million, Dune 2. I think he was in both of them, actually. He stars in that one. Of course, Guardians of the Galaxy. Dave Bautista, I mean, he's starting to show something.
I think, what's underrated about Batista is he has some range as an actor.
True.
I mean, obviously, like, when you get cast as, like, Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy, his physique played a role in landing that
Absolutely,
booking, right?
yeah. This
This guy's built like a Greek god. But he's showed off the comedy aspects with Stuber. He's the Last of Us was not what I expected.
Mm-hmm.
or not the Netflix movie, where he's playing the type of character that you go in thinking this guy's a heel, he's holding people hostage, and instead, like that's not necessarily the gist of that movie and or the character he plays. So I applaud him for taking the wide range of roles that he has, whereas I think a lot of times wrestlers, when you think of like Stone Cold's career, he was sort of typecast as a tough guy.
True.
And I think that Batista's had a chance to show off his chops.
If we just throw it out there, is Batista better than, we'll just say The Miz for the Marine right now? Batista better than that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Batista better than John Cena?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I am very excited to see the Ricky Stenicki movie with John Cena.
He's making his rounds on all the late talk shows, and I think Saturday Night Live, like he's been all over the place. Definitely look forward to checking that out. You did say Netflix. AT&T Stadium in Dallas, actually, just recently announced that Iron Mike Tyson and Jake Paul will be having a boxing match streaming live on Netflix July 20th. Are we buying that? Are we watching that or anything? Or are we not interested?
I'm not going to sign up for Netflix just for it.
Okay, fair enough.
But if someone gives me their password, then I'll watch it.
Hey now.
Yeah, hey now, right. We are going to throw it to one of our favorite segments in the Ultimate Wrestling Trivia, the show, the Couch Game. Go ahead and check this out right now. All right, welcome back to Ultimate Wrestling Trivia's favorite game, the Couch Game. We are looking for, from 2007 to current 2024, TNA Impact World Heavyweight Champions.
I'm going to crush this.
All right, so 2007, obviously that's when the NWA left, so TNA was solo. TNA Impact World Heavyweight Champions. On your mark, get set, Stefano, go.
I know a little thing about champions. If you look at my hat right here, I'll say Mr. Anderson.
That is
Anderson.
correct, Mr. Anderson.
AJ Styles.
AJ Styles, correct.
Sting!
It's Sting is correct.
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe, check.
Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle, correct.
Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy, correct.
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan is incorrect.
Come on.
Not on there.
We'll go Josh Alexander.
Josh Alexander, yes.
Robert Roode.
Robert Roode, yep.
Chris Sabin.
Chris Sabin, correct.
A-double Austin Aries.
Austin Aries, yep.
Alex Shelley.
Alex Shelley, correct.
Eric Young.
Eric Young, EY, correct.
Christian.
Christian Cage, yes.
Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley is correct.
Drew Galloway.
Drew Galloway is correct.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Andrade.
Andrade is incorrect. Derek for the win.
Gosh. Moose.
Moose is correct. Yes. There is still a handful more. The fellas forgot. Leave them in the comments below. Let us know who they forgot. All right. The Couch Game Impact Champs. If you can name any of those, drop them in the comments. That's always fun.
No, it is fun, and we definitely missed our fair share, and
we always do.
When the camera's on and the pressure's high,
right?
The brain goes.
I do feel like that's probably like one of those things where you're watching Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy at home, and you're just answering questions. But if you're actually there in studio, like deer in headlights, you're like, I probably would have got this if I was at home. But
and to give the people out there a little glimpse at how this kind of came to be. So obviously our 32,000 social media followers. Thank you everybody. You guys have interacted. You've watched all the different videos we've made over the last couple of years, and definitely we call it the Couch Game,
right?
This or that, or how many can you name? But we haven't really stuck with a consistent name, but those videos do well for us. They get that 2,000 to 10,000 views, across the platform. Some have done 20,000. We've had other videos that have broke 100K, but those generally involve the legends of the business that have rattled off trivia for us. So for our little homegrown stuff, that's kind of a big deal. And we're like, we should incorporate that into the YouTube show, because there are sometimes, with Instagram, you can only get 90 seconds.
Right, you might just miss it.
We've gone on for 3 minutes.
Sure.
But we can't show all that. So this is a chance to kind of show all that, and it's one and you're done. So
yeah, the pressure literally is on. So if you know any, feel free to drop those into the comments. And speaking of Impact TNA, recently, Sportster.com came out with the 10 best Impact wrestlers of all time. Number 10, polarizing figure himself. I was a little surprised he came in at number 10. Jeff Jarrett was number 10. You think he would be a little closer towards the top?
As a founding father, I think you would think so. And I didn't see the criteria as far as if NWA TNA counted.
Right.
Because he was definitely one of the flagship big stars, along with, Ken Shamrock, R-Truth, Ron Killings, in those early days of the weekly Wednesday pay-per-views on NWA TNA. As they dropped the NWA and just focused on themselves, the company went in different directions, and he took a back seat. But there is no TNA without Double J.
That is true. And it was always fun to say his name: JEFFJARRET.
A little bit higher on the ranking than he should be.
Number 9, the Hardcore Monster Abyss. Number 8 was the X Division Extraordinaire. He was Chris Sabin, the only man to kick out of a 3D. Do we like that list so far?
Nah, Sabin goes down.
Oh, okay.
I think if you're bumping Sabin down on that list, I think you're omitting his more recent contributions to Impact, where he's been a major player. So aside from his first singles run with the feud with Bully Ray, 3 owners later, he's back in that main event picture, as well as an accomplished tag team wrestler.
Speaking of an accomplished tag team wrestler, coming in at number 7, Jeff Hardy, who had a 10-year career in Impact TNA from 2004 to 2006 and 2010 to 2017. Jeff Hardy makes the list at number 7.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think when you think of TNA and Impact and Jeff Hardy, you think of the lowlights. You think of the match where he wasn't in the right frame of mind with Sting, and Bischoff pulled the plug on it essentially, and there was no match. And that led to suspensions and firings and things like that. But he had a lot of good stuff too. The Will-O-the-Wisp, the deletion with Matt Hardy. So yeah, that's probably about right.
Coming in at number 6 was a guy, Beer Money. He had the solo run. He had Team Canada. Bobby Roode comes in at number 6. Number 5 of the top 10 best Impact wrestlers of all time, according to Sportsters.com. Big name value, 2006. He came in. It was none other than the Stinger, who we just got done talking about. Number 5 on the list. Shocked at where he lands there?
It's a little low. I thought he'd be higher.
Higher on the list, maybe a top 3.
Top 3, yeah,
for sure.
I would imagine, but it's not my list. So,
one of the hottest acts in TNA Impact. Had a lot of great matches with Christian Cage, Christopher Daniels, everybody. Samoa Joe, number 4 on the list.
Yeah, I would have said, obviously he's a top 5 guy. And from the X Division to the heavyweight title picture, Rude, Sting, those guys are right there. A lot of people don't realize Sting had a 10-year career in Impact.
He did. He sure did.
And we've brought up on past episodes of our show that was actually longer than his time in WCW, which was only 9 years. So
isn't that something? Yeah.
So you don't necessarily think of that. Obviously, he worked the lighter schedule, but definitely was still a main event player. And
well, Kurt Angle was another one too that had a longer career in Impact than in WWE, right? Yeah. Coming in at number 3, she was a fixture in the Knockouts division. Gail Kim is number 3.
Way too high.
Way too high.
Way too high.
Matches with Awesome Kong. People are screaming right now like those are epic matches. Speaking of Kurt Angle, you know he slides in at the number 2 spot from 2006 to 2016. Lashley was his last match for that. Kurt Angle, number 2. We happy with that?
Yeah, his best matches of his career were in Impact, which a lot of wrestling fans, don't. Maybe it didn't have as many eyeballs as his WWE run, but you know his cage match against Ken Anderson was phenomenal.
Lockdown 2011, I think
St.
that
Louis,
was. So
yeah.
after you're done watching the show, when you're on YouTube here, type it in and definitely check out a lot of the great Kurt Angle TNA Impact moments. And drum roll, please, the number 1 Impact wrestler, according to Sportsters.com, of all time. He is the first X Division champ, the last world champion in TNA, none other than the phenomenal one, AJ Styles.
They got number 1 right.
Nope, can't complain.
Let us know any comments, questions, concerns, more stories that you could think of throughout the show with Ken Anderson, you guys.
Oh, there's a lot of stories. We can save those for future shows.
Save them for the Patreon.
The Patreon.
You know, we got to try to make money too, you know.
That is true. We do have a Patreon. $6 a month. You get access to the Ultimate Wrestling Trivia, the show a day early, autographed wrestler. Just be a random one, 8x10, an entry. One entry into our pro wrestling memorabilia. We'll be giving away a gift, so you'll get an entry into that. And you can send a question into the show. We'll answer it here. $6 a month. That'll get you. Otherwise, if you want to pop up on the Patreon, $9 a month. You get access to the show a day early. You get the autographed 8x10 of a random wrestler. Instead of one ticket into the memorabilia, you'll get 3 entries into that when we pick it. You can send a question into the show. We'll answer it. You could be a part of the show. We'll have some video thing where we can do that. Backstage exclusive content. Maybe Stefano will sing some karaoke of the Donnas. We can send it out to him.
How much do I get paid for that?
Well, $6 a month or $9 a month. So
You got to charge. If I'm singing, charge more.
definitely check out the Patreon. That about wraps it up for the show. That is Mike Merc, the man in the middle, Stefano. My name is Devon. We will see you next Tuesday, 6:05.